because that's rooted in complaining, then the spirit of Thanksgiving, they might obviously practice Thanksgiving, okay, day off, whatever, but the spirit of Thanksgiving, how many people tomorrow that are mainstream Democrats will go out of their way to say, wow, look at the blessing? Of course not. That makes them less powerful. If they tell their base, hey guys, we actually have it pretty good, then why should they get more power? Tyrants will never, ever tell the population they're trying to master, hey, things are actually great. Instead, they'll say, things are miserable, so give me more power. We'll be right back. This November. But I'm getting better and better at articulating this, which is some parents will say, but Charlie, who cares if they will read, Rousseau and they read the Communist Manifesto? I want them to be open to all sorts of ideas. That's fair. I totally agree, by the way. That's not what we're getting at, though. What we're getting at is the actual process of how they interpret and how they bring in information. So whether you know it or not, there are different ways of thinking. And we take it for granted. So I'll give you a great example, how I read Scripture. When I read Scripture, and I find something that I don't understand, or I see something that I personally don't like, I believe that I'm the one that's wrong and Scripture is right, and I need to figure out why. So that's a system of thinking. And it's come over a long period of time. And of course, it's still with inquiry, but the benefit is on Scripture, not on me. When young people go to university, they view the world, whether they realize it or not. Even if they come from a conservative upbringing, it wears them down because of the homework and the books and the lectures and the videos, where instead of looking at the world as an abundance of opportunity, at a place of potential prosperity, rooted, of course, in a gratitude, thankful posture, they look at it as a place of exploitation, thievery, stealing. And so the methodology of how they actually see the world and the formula of how they process information changes without parents even realizing it. So it's not just the books you consume, it's not just what the professors are saying, they are reworking the actual neural pathways of how an entire generation will read the newspaper. Jordan Peterson said this better than I can, quite honestly, with Bill Maher the other day. Listen to this cut 27.
I mean, part of the reason that you see all this foolishness on university campuses too is because people have bought this idiot meta-Marxism, which is that the way to look at every social relationship that people ever have is through the lens of power. And that is, we can put that squarely at the feet of the universities. Once you get that, which you can get in about 2 minutes, if you say that in the course that teaches that sort of thing, you have a lens to moralize about the whole world through. And then you see the situation is that the leftists have already decided the Palestinians are the victims. And as you pointed out, if you're a victim, then you're morally righteous. And even more conveniently, if you stand for the victim, then you're morally righteous regardless of what you do with your own life.
So the bad guys will call this cognitive bias, but it's actually really a good way to interpret it. So if you have a group of people and there's there's clinical data after clinical data that shows this, and by the way, it's proof, you guys can do it right now. So if you're watching the Charlie Kirk show, you close your eyes for 5 minutes, and I want you only to think about the color green. Only think about the color green, only think about the color green, only think about the color green, and open your eyes. Immediately, you're going to notice the rumble thing right behind me. Right behind me. Because you've been trained, or at least you primed your brain to be obsessed with color green, color green, color green, color green, and then boom, you open your eyes go immediately to this right here, this rumble thing behind me. So you, largely in life, you notice what you are primed to notice. Another example, walking around Phoenix, Arizona, Tony Robbins, I really like him. I noticed about two years ago, he was selling this hat with a 4-leaf clover that said, "Get Lucky." I saw that on his website. All of a sudden, I start walking around Phoenix, and I see everybody wearing that hat. Now, was there a massive increase in people wearing that hat just because I noticed that the hat was for sale? Or was the hat always there, I just happened to then notice it? Another example, you buy a new car, or you're aware of buying a new car, and you start driving around and everyone is driving those cars. Was there a sudden increase in the purchase of that car, or are you now noticing that car more? You get the point. It's proven in psychology. It's proven in many ways. It's just with your own reason. You can. That is how you train a young student to view the world. They close their eyes, say, find the injustice, 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 find the injustice.